Hey guys, my name is Naguura and today I'm going to be talking about the problem with 9.2 tier sets and the way you obtain them. So people have been asking for tier sets to come back forever now at this point, and now we're finally going to get them back in 9.2. The last time we did have tier sets, we had Master Loot though, and since then Master Loot has been removed and it's not an option anymore for their loot options. So now we only have forced personal loot at this point, which can create quite a few issues with tier sets and how you obtain them. And I quickly want to talk about that problem and also some possible solutions. But first, I'm going to talk about tier sets and all of the information we know about them so far. There will be 5 set pieces as far as we know: head, shoulders, chest, gloves, and leggings. You only need 2 pieces to enable the 2 set bonus, and you need 4 pieces to enable the 4 set bonus. So you have 1 piece that you can remove if you want to switch around your legendary slots or whatever. The tier will be dropping in a raid, the tier items, and the tier will also be possible loot options in the weekly vault from raiding, but also from M+ and from the PvP vault as well. You will be able to craft tier set pieces in the new zone with the legendary currency Cosmic Flux. This is meant to be a bad luck protection or a catch-up mechanic for alts. So the currency is supposed to drop from all types of content, very similar to Echoes of Nyalotha in BFA, the currency you used to upgrade your essences back then. So it's meant to drop in, PvP and plus raids in the zone, in the new zone, in everywhere basically. The set will be class specific and the bonuses will change according to your spec. So if you're a druid, you don't have to go at 4 different specs, you just get 1 and then you switch your spec and it will change the bonus accordingly. The set pieces that drop from the raid will be able to be equipped immediately according to Morgan Day in an interview recently. So this implies that the drops will be for a specific slot, and it's not a token that you go to a vendor with and then you trade it for any slot. So it kind of means that if you get a set piece, it will be shoulders, or it will be legs, or it will be a helmet. It's not like a token that you can use for whatever piece you want. It still doesn't exclude the possibility of it being class tokens though, because it could still be a token that you click on and then it turns into your shoulder piece, for example, that is tradable between, like, let's say, priests, warlocks, and mages can use this token, basically. I do think it's unlikely for that to happen because of the way they spoke about it. It seems almost to be the case that you literally just get the set piece, like it just drops. Here's your druid set piece or whatever. But we'll see about that. All right, so let's quickly talk about the problems that forced personal loot could possibly create with this. So without Master Loot, you might have a much harder time actually getting the set bonus at the start of the patch because you can't funnel that set anymore to a specific player, right? In the past, if you were raiding with a guild that most guilds did use Master Loot, not all of them, but most guilds did, right? So if you had a person that had 1 set piece and another person didn't, you would give it to that 1 person to enable the 2 set. If you had a person that had 3 pieces and you get a tier set, you would give it to that person to enable the 4 set, right? So theoretically speaking, in a guild or in a raid, you could have like 10 players that have 1 set piece, 5 players with 2 set pieces, and like 5 players with 3, theoretically, right? So the set pieces that you have in the whole raid would only be enabling like 5 bonuses, while in the past it would have been like 10 or 15 because you would have been giving it to the correct players that are completing a set. So it would be a very similar situation like we had in Sanctum of Domination with Shards of Domination, where, you had a lot of people who had 2 unholy shards just missing the 3rd, instead of, being able to give the shard to a specific person. Now, there will be this currency that I talked about earlier called Cosmic Flux, right? So this Cosmic Flux is meant to be this bad luck protection. So if you have 10 players with only 1 piece, then they can just use the Cosmic Flux to craft their 2nd piece, right? But the thing is, the way they spoke about this bad luck protection or this Cosmic Flux currency kind of sounded like that they were implying that it's supposed to be a thing that happens later. Like, I would be very pleasantly surprised, actually, if they would allow you, or if they would make it so you can earn that much flux, Cosmic Flux, that you would be able to craft this already like the 1st week. So if that is true, then I take all of this back and none of this actually will cause any problems. But the thing is, it just doesn't sound like it, right? This Cosmic Flux doesn't sound like something that you can just endlessly farm and you can just craft your tier from week onwards, right? Like, it really just doesn't sound that way. It sounds as if this Cosmic Flux is supposed to be something that happens later. You know, like a few weeks into the patch, you gathered your Cosmic Flux, and then if you still miss one piece, you can craft it. That's what they made it sound like. More of a catch-up thing and a bad luck protection, rather than I'm just going to log on in 9.2 and immediately start crafting my tier set, right? So now let's talk about why all of this is even considered a problem at all. Now, the set bonuses currently are incredibly strong. Some of the stat bonuses give up to a 20% damage increase with the current versions that they data mined. Of course, it's on PTR, right? The stat bonuses can change still, of course. But the thing is, a lot of the stat bonus seem that strong, number-wise, right? Some people are saying, oh, but my stat bonus doesn't sound good. And yeah, sometimes they might not be really interesting, but they still might give you a 20% damage increase, right? So yeah, if the power of the stat bonuses stays as strong as it is currently, then the power curve throughout the rate progression will be incredibly steep. And that means, or that can cause problems with balancing for the bosses, making damage checks either not doable at all if you don't have enough set pieces in your raid, or like enabled bonuses in your raid. Or there will be damage checks that are way too easy, right? Because if the damage curve of your raid, so this is the time that you're raiding in, and this is like the power of the players, right? So if you have a curve like this, the power usually should be going up like gradually every week, right? Every week your raid should get a little bit stronger because you know get a new vault item, you get new this, you get that, and whatever, and like it slowly goes up, right? But with the tier sets being at 20% or up to a 20% damage increase, the damage curve, or the power curve rather, for your raid would be like this. Like it would go like this, and then everyone gets 4 set, and then it goes up like this, basically, right? So it would all of a sudden be like a huge increase in power whenever people enable their stats. And that would mean that, okay, first you can't meet the damage check at all. Like you're not even close to meeting the damage check for a boss or like the end range. And then all of a sudden you get such a big power spike that it's super easy, right? And I do think that's a pretty big problem when it comes to balancing. Not only is this a problem for, of course, the world first race, because it might create a situation where bosses are completely unkillable, like not even close, and then all of a sudden they just like fall over, right? But it also would create a problem for everyone else, for people who are not like world first raiders, because for the first couple of weeks you would not get through the boss at all, and then all of a sudden they die, which doesn't feel great in my opinion. It definitely should be more of a gradual like power increase throughout the raids, instead of like these huge spikes whenever you enable more set bonus in your raid. Another thing this would cause as well is the problem that if you don't have your set bonus enabled, you would feel really bad, right? Because the 10 to 20% damage increase is comparable to, let's say, like a 30 item level difference overall. So if you have a character that is like 220 item level equipped and another person is 250, that would be the difference between like 10-20% damage approximately, right? So that feels bad. If you have the same item level as someone else, but they do 20% more damage than you, or 10%, that's a huge difference, and it would feel horrible for you as a player if you got unlucky and you didn't get the tier as quickly as the other person. Now, again, there is going to be this Cosmic Flux to be able to give you that bad luck protection, but again, I'm pretty sure, or at least it's implied, that this is only happening later on, like in a few weeks from the patch. So in the first few weeks, it will feel the same way as we had with the Unholy Shards, right? If you guys remember at the start of Sanctum of Domination, there were some people who got their Unholy Shards and some people who didn't. The people who didn't get the Unholy Shards for the first like 2 or 3 weeks, they felt horrible. And the Unholy Shards weren't even as big of an increase compared to the set bonus numbers that we have right now. The shards, I think, was like a 7% damage increase, 5 to 7, which is still really like big, and we felt it. We felt the difference back then, right? But it's nowhere near a 20% damage increase that those stat bonuses would be, right? So you would definitely feel bad if you wouldn't have the 4 set while other people have it. and you don't have that cosmic flux already to catch up. Let's talk about solutions real quickly for this issue. I think there's a bunch of solutions that they could go with. First of all, they could just balance the tier set better, right? Just bring down the numbers for all tier sets to be, if you compare it to past tier sets that we had in Legion, then the 2-set bonus would usually be like 2 to 4% damage increase, and the 4-set bonus would be like 4 to 6%, sometimes a bit higher. Of course, there were like outliers. Overall, it would be approximately like 8 to 10% of a damage increase for the full set, right? And now we have numbers up to 20%, which is like almost double. So either they bring the tier down to be more similar to the numbers we had before in Legion with sets. They could also theoretically let you obtain the sets quicker, right? If everyone theoretically could get a 4-set already in the first week of the raid, somehow through Cosmic Flux or through whatever it may be that you can, get the tier through, then it wouldn't feel as bad because everyone who wants to farm it would have the tier set already. And then it doesn't matter if everyone does 20% more damage, right? Because then you just balance the bosses around that extra power that players have. I personally still think, though, that it would be a better solution to just, balance the bonuses to be less of a damage increase. Because if you obtain the set so easily when a patch comes out, it really just won't feel as like special when you obtain it. If everyone can just log on in 9.2 and you just farm a little bit of currency and then you can craft your set, it would feel not as special, right? And special meaning that it takes you like a few weeks to get it, and then you have this moment where you just finally complete your set and it's like, yes, and you feel that power gain immediately. So yeah, I do think that nerfing the set a little would create an environment where, maybe the first Mythic week, a lot of people are going to have the 2-set, but not the 4-set. Also including their world first guilds. They might, kill the last boss with 2-set only instead of 4-set. And then like the 3rd, 4th Mythic week, you have a full set, right? I think that might be more enjoyable for everybody. But yeah, those are my 2 cents about the current situation with the tier sets and the way you obtain them. I just don't want them to repeat the same mistake that we had with shards, because the way shards worked felt just absolutely horrible, right? We had the unholy shards, the way you obtained them was completely RNG. Some people did 7% more damage for like 2 or 3 weeks while you were sitting there not getting your 3rd unholy shard forever, and it felt horrible. And the thing that a lot of people are just kind of scoffing over, they're like saying, oh, this is just a problem for like the mythic raiding guilds, because 4 or 5 weeks after the raid, you can craft your catch-up gear. It's fine, right? But the thing is, this problem of these huge power spikes through shards or tier sets, it really is the biggest problem at the start when the tier comes out. That's when the biggest problems occur, right? So when the 2nd or 3rd week of Mythic, that's where your guild goes in and progresses those bosses. This is where the World First race happens as well. And if you're going to have huge disparities between damage because someone has a 2-set and someone has a 4-set and the other one has nothing, then that just feels horrible. Because at that point, it's not, it's definitely not bring the class, bring the player, it's bring the character that got geared the most, and then whoever owns the character is going to be playing, because 20% damage difference is like absolutely insane. So bringing down those numbers, so it's only like a 3% difference between one bonus and the other, that might make it more acceptable in my eyes if someone is missing it or not. But yeah, those are my 2 cents about this. I hope you guys enjoyed my thought process here. If you disagree, if you think that there's a different solution even to this problem that I am suggesting, or if you have a completely different idea about this, then definitely let me know in the comments below. Do like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like videos like these, because I'm uploading a lot of this. And yeah, have a nice rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one. Bye guys.